Good morning ladies and gents, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you enjoyed that little intro of the drone flying instead of the usual coffee making intro. Getting more confident letting the drone fly a bit higher and getting used to all the controls and different settings. Although I was a bit nervous because it almost did fly into a tree up, but thankfully the obstacle avoidance kicked in and stopped it and made it fly higher, which I was very pleased with. But anyway, after taking 9 days completely off any sort of training when I went to cricket, which is the previous vlog, if you've not seen it, go back and watch it. But I didn't do any activity whatsoever, didn't go to the gym, didn't go for any runs, just enjoyed my time off. That's the longest I've had off in my 14 years of training, so my body is thanking me for that. But I do feel it is odd that it was very easy for me to just follow the routine of going to the gym and getting up early and going out. I feel like I could happily just not train for the rest of however long, but even though it's been part of my life for the last 16 years, every day I've pretty much done some sort of physical activity. But 9 days off, maybe it's an age thing, or I'm finally listening to my body and actually allowing myself time off. But 9 days is a long time for me to take off of anything. Although, as you can tell from the side of the video, I am 13 weeks and 5 days out from Hyrox, and now I'll be starting a new plan specifically for that. I think I'm going to take this week as more of an intro week to the new training. I'm going to have 4 lifting days with 3 running sessions, with one of those being a lifting and running session on the same day, which will be Monday, so today. And I will take you through that training sprint later on in the video, or you can just skip ahead. There will be chapters below. Kicking things off with my nutrition. Now this morning I weighed 19.85 kilos, so I've lost just over a kilo since being away. But I'm not going to try and lose weight, but although I could do losing a couple of kilos, that's going to be the main goal. I'm going to stick to around maintenance calories, should be around 32 and 3400, aiming for 160 to 180 grams of protein, 90 to 100 grams of fat, and the rest just carbs. Again, not tracking anything meticulously, but enough to feel fueled and recovered for my next session. Obviously this morning I have my usual breakfast of oats, protein, banana, honey, salt. I'm going to train a bit early this morning and do my running. I've also got my coffee, even though he didn't see me make it this morning. I have my Cannonball coffee right here. I may go into a very small deficit, but again, that performance is key, so maybe just a 5% deficit, or just stick around maintenance on days I run, just not eat back those calories. I'm hoping to try and clean up my nutrition a bit more, because I've been slacking there lately. I've been having a good breakfast, the oats, all that, but then lunch, good lunch, but then dinner I've just sort of been eating what I want, or eating what's nearby, just to get the calories in, because I always save the calories for the rest at the end of the day. But I'm going to try and change that and have 3 decent meals and a snack or 2, sort of clean it up a little bit. Although there's no such thing as bad foods, just less nutritious, more nutritious. I'm going to try and have more nutritious foods throughout the day. So yeah, that's the nutrition side. That's the nutrition side of things covered. And then we're training 4 sessions, 3 running. Today is going to be lower with intervals. Tomorrow's upper. Wednesday is going to be a run. Thursday is going to be lower. Friday upper, and Saturday is going to be a long zone 2 run. So I'm looking forward to getting started and seeing what this week goes like before hitting it hard from next Monday. That is the squats done for the day. Just taking a little breather before I move on to some deadlifts. Keeping things very light this week at around 60% for the main lifts, just so I can ease myself back in the train and get used to it. Because my hips, quads, glutes are already feeling it from those squats. It was just 2 sets at 60%, which was one weight bumped up to 110, because why not? But I've decided on the strength work, so the squat, bench and deadlift, to not push the 1RMs. I've had a little word with myself to not push for the 1RMs and pull back the strength work and focus on that 3RM to 5RM rep range. So that way I can focus more on the conditioning side of things, stay fresher for those, and push that, which is something I've neglected for the last sort of month or so, just focusing on pushing the 1RM, because my strength was starting to come back nicely. But I'm going to pull back on that, push the conditioning, but still lift heavy-ish to still satisfy that craving for lifting heavy. Well, heavy for me anyway. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling it after having 9 days off. Body feels good, but muscles are aching a wee bit. It's going to be a fun 12 weeks, isn't it? Volume squats and those on the same day. It's going to be a biatch. Ooh, but it shouldn't take me too long to readjust to the volume. Again, just three or four movements today. Walking lunges next, and then just some core work. Just keeping things nice and simple on the strength days. But it's definitely going to take me a while to adjust. I did think of using straps on those deadlifts, but I thought I'd come out train for, again, 9 days, not on deadlifts for almost 2 weeks. I thought I'd just go back to hook grip for volume work. Maybe once it gets a bit heavier, start using them then, but because I'm not always a huge fan of that mixed grip. Just because I can never feel I can sort of get my back set properly enough. Again, I can't remember which way I do it. I think I do it that way. But yeah, I just much prefer overhand. Again, that's probably from my weightlifting background, or from my idea of weightlifting. I just prefer double overhand, hog grip. I just keep those lats nice and tight. I feel I get a lot more tension there. Although I can lift more weight. Mixed grip, I just prefer double overhand. So I have 3 tips when performing walking lunges, although I'm only using 2 of them today. Number 1 is use straps as your grips most likely even give out before your legs do. So just take them out of the equation, use some straps, and your legs will thank you for it, because all the focus will be kept on those. Number 2 is as you lunge, step out to the side. It's not just straight forwards like you're on a tie rope, slightly forwards, just outside shoulder width. And number 3 is bring your feet together between each lunge. That just gives you a second to regain control, and you'll feel like you can lunge forever. So out to the side, feet together both on the floor, lunge. Just nice and easy, but just keeping things nice and easy. I'm probably going to stick with this weight, not this weight, but I'm going to stick lunges weight around what I'm going to be competing with at Hyrox, which is a 25 kilo sandbag. So from next week, I'll be using the 12.5s up to maybe the 20s just to build a bit more strength, but I'll be doing them in a front max to mimic that sandbag, because we don't have one here, so on the shoulders. I'll be lunging. Oh, reminds me of my CrossFit days. So that is the lifting part of the session done. Again, just short and sweet squats, deadlifts, walking lunges. Now it's time for the running part. Now ideally you'd run 6 to 8 hours after a lifting session, or at least 24 hours. You might get the benefits of both, but because of the way my schedule is today, I'm running straight afterwards, so I'm not going to do anything crazy. But the plan going forwards will be to do some sort of interval after my Monday lifting session, just so I've got all the intensity work at the start of the week. So that's going to be either running intervals, like where I am now. I'm going to run along the dock road. It's pretty straight, there's no major turns, so I should be able to just continuous running, but I'm just going to do 10 minutes out, 10 minutes back. Just a nice bit of zone 2 work, just to keep the legs loose, get back into the swing of running. But like I say, going forward will be intervals, 400 metres, 800 metres, then build into 1 kilometre intervals. But I think I'll only do the 1 kilometre intervals when I can separate my running by a good 6 to 8 hours between lifting and running. Or if I can go to the other gym, it'll be some form of bike interval. So that is the running done. Just I set a 20-minute timer to run 10 minutes out and 10 minutes back, but try and beat the time back, if that makes any sense. So run a certain distance in 10 minutes, try and run the same but a little bit quicker. I did that with 10 seconds to spare. I'll put the details on screen. Again, nothing crazy, just ease back into, as I said, from going forwards. That'll be interval work, whether that is time based or distance based, depending on where I can run, what I'm doing. But time now to head home and have some lunch. But something I forgot to mention along with my nutrition is supplements. So the supplements I'm going to be taking for the next 12 weeks, or I've been taking for the last however long, and these are pretty much my standard selection. I'm not going to go into too much detail on each one, just give you the basics. But up first is whey protein, natural chocolate flavour. I have this every day with breakfast before training, either in my oats or as a smoothie. That's also good to have throughout the day. If you're low on protein of an evening, if I'm low on protein for the day, I'll have it with my cereal, my bowl of cereal with milk, bang this in, ups the protein. I have a 40-gram scoop with breakfast every morning. I don't know why 40, because 30 doesn't seem enough, 50 seems too much, but it just gives me a good hit of protein early in the morning. Also, speaking of training, before training I have this My Protein Pump, which is a non-stimulant pre-workout, because I'm trying to cut down on my caffeine, and I already have a high caffeine coffee with Cannonball coffee. I chose this because it's got all the sort of key ingredients I'd look out for in a pre-workout, which was obviously citrulline, beta-alanine, L-arginine, and yeah, it's got a bit of coconut water powder in there for a bit of hydration, and I feel it does the job well, and it's a decent price. So the Pump, My Protein. This is the Nordic berries flavour, which is a bit, I thought it would be a much more sour taste, because that's what I'm used to with having Ghost, but it took a while to get used to, but I'll just down it. You'll be fine. Also, before training, mainly before my runs, I have an extra scoop of beta-alanine. Now, beta-alanine acts like a buffer to lactic acid, meaning it takes longer for you to feel that fatigue of exercise, and it's also been shown to improve running times, which is obviously since starting Hyrox I've decided to up my dose. And it's also very similar to the way creatine acts, and that your body builds up stores of it, so it's something you should sort of take every single day once you get past the itchy feeling, which is what you get in pre-workouts if you ever had one, and you get that itchy palms, itchy face. That is the beta-alanine kicking in. Like I just said, creatine. This is both these packs are almost empty. I need to order some more to be here in a few days. But this is one of the highly researched sports performance supplements in the world, besides caffeine or thereabouts. It just helps, again, pulls water to the muscle, gets you stronger, gets you more powerful. 5 grams a day. You can do a loading phase, but I don't see the need to it, because it just leaves you feeling dehydrated. And I haven't taken this for probably almost 2 weeks, 3 weeks, which is probably why I've lost a bit of weight, which is probably mainly just water weight. So hopefully get back on this and feel a lot more powerful and stronger. And these two are, well, vitamin D, because I live in the UK and you can't really tell, but it is overcast. Even though it's meant to be summer, it's been raining the last few days. Vitamin D is just a very important sort of thing. I get it from sunlight, but we don't get enough here, and I am, as you can tell, very pale skin, so I need more sunlight. And vitamin D just helps me get my vitamin D levels up. Good for the immune system, and I can always tell, maybe if it's placebo or not, if I don't take it the next day, I'm just a bit moody, just feel a bit miserable, sorry for myself. And then when I take this, the next day I just feel a bit more awake and with it. So that's placebo or not. Vitamin D, just 1 capsule a day. And then before I go to bed, because for years I've always struggled with sleep, maybe it's because of too much caffeine, but since cutting down on not having this, I am sleeping like a baby, waking up nice and refreshed. And then his brain gains switch off. I got this flavour recently, the honey lemon iced tea, which you can kind of smell the honey in the tea, but to me it smells like Turkish Delight and also tastes like Turkish Delight. But I like it. It's a difference from the other flavours I've had, and this is just a ZMA product with ashwagandha, lion's mane, 5-HTP, other things I can't pronounce, to help you just feel really relaxed and help you feel refreshed for the one, help with recovery. And it does give you some weird dreams if you just start taking it, but because I find this just leaves me feeling a little bit too groggy in the mornings, I take half a scoop and it still does the job. I'm out within 30 minutes taking this, regardless of how much caffeine I've had during the day. They also do a switch on version, which obviously keeps you alert, keeps you focused. I've had that before, but at the minute I don't take that. But I might get back on it again when I do my long editing hours, if I get started doing my long editing hours, that is. But yeah, these are the supplements that I take. But yeah, nothing crazy, nothing fancy, no fat burning pills or all that nonsense. I'm more about, all my training's about performance, and these will help me perform better and to my best, and help me recover for the next session. But yeah, that's the supplements covered. Now let's dive into the programming side of things. Why was that so hard to say? Just a brief overview of what I've ran with the gym before, and they got very good results with it. So this will be the strength portion of the program. As you can see, the first 4 weeks, moderate volume, moderate intensity. Again, this is just to build that base strength, get a bit of hypertrophy in there as well before switching to more of it. Again, this could change to a top set with a few back offs, so really increasing that intensity, lowering the volume. And because I'm squatting and deadlifting on the same day, I have taken off the extra deadlift sets, the back off sets there, because no one wants to be doing that really. And when my squat improves, my deadlifts also improves, so I don't really train that as much, and it's not a goal of mine right now to get really strong in those lifts, so I can back off a bit like I've mentioned before, increasing the volume for the final 4 weeks with a moderate intensity and getting a lot more specific with the Hyrox event stuff. Now, breaking it down, this is what a typical week would look like. This is what this week is going to look like. I've obviously just done session 1. This is the intro week, nice and easy, just squats, deadlifts, lunges, out for a run. Tomorrow is going to be upper body strength, so barbell bench, 4 sets to 6, rows, dumbbell pressing, row up or down depending where I train, and then being more Hyrox specific again depending where I train. I'd like to do maybe some ski and row work here, obviously work on the burpee broad jumps. And session 3 and 4, they were originally the other way around, so session 4 is going to be an extra leg day, and then session 4 is going to be session 3, which is going to be a leg day, and then session 2 is going to be on a Thursday. So session 4, because that's what I'm used to, but since speaking with a friend of mine, running is the main goal, so I'm putting that early in the week, so I'm a bit fresher for that, and we've recovered from the heavy leg day. And this leg day is just going to be an accessory movements, so nothing too crazy, just movements that are going to complement the main strength work at the start of the week, and these are going to have sort of constraints to them. So for example, a zombie squat, I can't front squat properly, and a zombie squat is much more challenging because you've only got the arms out in front. And then reverse lunges, getting low volume, 5 each side, and then there's going to be a hinge in there which I forgot to add, so it's going to be some sort of RDL variation, keeping things nice and simple, just a squat, a hinge and a lunge variation. Same for the first leg day of the week. And then next session is going to be an upper bodybuilding session, dumbbell bench, rows, probably another press. Actually no, it's going to be dips, bodyweight dips for more volume, another row or pull down, pulled one, pull down, finishing with some armor work. And then session 6, final session of the week, it's going to be a long zone 2 run, just to get those kilometers in. Like you need 10 to 15k, probably start 10k, working way up. It's probably got like 10, 12, 15, nothing too crazy on those, because I'm going to increase the runs early in the week. Because I forgot to mention, one of the first run sessions is on session 1, so I'm going to be running intervals, whether that's straight after lifting or hours later, depends what I'm working that day. Then on 2 weeks, 5 to 8, the intensity block. Again, this is just all still a very much a shell of a program. Still squats, heavy 5, back offs, and then the heavy deadlifts, bench, heavy 5. I may pull back on the accessory work, get more specific, or definitely get more specific. Running session is going to be some threshold intervals, so sort of following the intensity of the running, increasing that intensity, lowering the volume. Session 4 still going to be leg day, but we'll switch things up. Maybe go for a safety bar squat. Bodybuilding session 5, and then still keeping those long zone 2 runs in there. I'm half tempted to do a half marathon, but we'll see, maybe just keep them as long steady runs. And then the final 4 weeks, dropping the intensity a little bit, going for more volume work, getting built heavy through, getting more specific, and then extra sled work. That'll be very much Hyrox specific there, just a bench and a row, and then all that Hyrox specific work, lots of skis, burpees on that day. Session 3, threshold runs, just more straight through threshold runs rather than intervals. I'm also toying with the idea of making this a Hyrox specific day, so more of an event day, adding in 2 or 3 sort of WODs, if you'd like, of just the Hyrox specific events, or doing like a stations only session. Also toying with the idea of changing this about, making session 5 event work, and then making session 5 the long run, and then session 6 event work again, or combine the two, try and do a Hyrox simulation. That's what I was looking for. Or to keep session 5 as the bodybuilding, and then session 6 as the long run. Again, still very much work in progress. That is the plan for the next 12 weeks. I will try and make this available once it's finished. Maybe you'll be a few weeks behind me once I upload it. I'm going to try and upload it so I can update it weekly as I go along. So you guys, if you're interested, follow along. But that is how I am planning my next 12 weeks of training leading up to Hyrox. Hopefully the first of many. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you are new and want to follow me on this journey, smash that subscribe. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.